I'm making some Christmas cards with bird stamps today. Want to see? Come on in.
Hello everybody, it's Julia with Senior Susie Stamps, and today is Sunday with Susie. So I have some fun things today. I wanted to challenge myself this year, well, in the year ahead. This is my starting point, so I just want y'all to be gentle with me, but I think we need to sometimes challenge ourselves, and my challenge for the next year is to learn how to do watercolor paper. I've never used it before this weekend. Now, this was some of my mother's supply of watercolor, and it is a cold press watercolor, which of course means nothing to me. And it's 140 pounds, 300 GSM. That's all I know about it, except it's really heavy and it's nubbly and it's kind of ivory colored. Now, I was talking to my friend Gloria, who lives in Australia. She's one of my followers, and we have developed a little conversation friendship, and she was saying that she's been getting some Ranger watercolor paper that's smooth on one side and white. Well, I might try some of that once I kind of get my feet wet. But yesterday I took this stencil, which is out of a Stampin' Up! Stencil pack, and I took my paper and divided it into quarters, and then I just did basically a strip for all 4 cards. Now I made 2 of them a little narrower so that they would be A2 size, and I made 2 of them a little bit wider, and let me show you those 2 that I worked on yesterday just to kind of get us started. I used a couple of older stamps. This is a PSX. PSX was a company that was started back in the 90s or late 80s. I can't remember which. It was a California company, and they have some absolutely gorgeous stamps which are very available through all different kinds of sources. This one is K1324, and it happens to be a 1999. Now, I did have to use a stamp pad, a mouse pad, which of course I don't. Oh, here it is. Sorry, I meant to get this over here. It's a soft rubber. I had to use it up underneath to get a good impression on that stamp. And the other stamp that I used was this Christmas Cardinal stamp. So let me show you those cards, because I did get them finished last night. Move some of this stuff out of the road here. So here's the first one. And so you can see that stenciled background. And then I just used a dryish brush, one of my round brushes, and I've got an aught, a 1, 4, and 5 here today, and then some inks to finish this out, and of course a Merry Christmas stamp. And on the inside I just pulled a little punched holly and berries to finish that out. So there's the first card, and then here's the second one. This one has, well, let's see, this one has a little glitter on it, on the feathers. I'm not sure if you can see kind of up in that area or not, but in addition to the little small 2mm gems, that little bit of glitter really makes this card kind of sparkle. And this one, I did a little glitter through the stencil in the snowflake pattern. I wasn't real thrilled with how it turned out, but I added a few streaks of blue glitter back up in here in the snowfall area of this bird, and I think it turned out really nicely. I did a little gray edge with probably the number 4 brush, just for a little edge treatment on this card, and the inside's pretty much just the same. So I'm going to put this on, and I think I will do the border first on this one. And this is a rubbernecker stamp called Distress Frame, and there's a number 985. That's all I know about it. I got it used, but it's never been used. I got it from eBay. Both of these had never been used, so we'll see how it goes. but I thought it would be fun, especially with these quirky little birds today. Pick up my stamp. Some people are really good at doodling. I am not one of those people. I can just flat tell you. Let's see how that looks. Oh, well, heck, I kind of like that. Fun. Well, I'll be using that stamp again, let me tell you what. Absolutely. I just don't think we need to re-ink that at all. I don't want it to get overwhelming. So I'm going to pull that one off. And move my little magnet. And put these little guys down. Aren't they cute? I just think these are adorable. This is a Stampendous Franz stamp called Cling Spindly Birds. Look at those little knees. Oh, gracious sakes. I just think they're adorable. Yeah. Well, I hated that the first card messed up on me. I probably will cut that out of the video so that you won't have to sit there and watch it. I was aggravated with myself, but that's okay. It's part of doing stuff in the studio when you're trying to learn something. All right, here we go. There. Are they cheerful or what? I think they are. Now on the little whites of their eyes, to bring that little white dot back, what I did on the cardinals was to use a little white jelly roll pen, and I will do that on these as well. That's probably enough ink down. Good deal. I think I might hit this one with the dryer just a little bit. Now, let's just see what colors we want to use. I think some of this Pacific Point blue would be pretty and bright. And of course we'll have to have red because it's Christmas. And some yellow for their little beaky beaks. Need a little water. I think I'm going to get the art brush to do their beak, because that's kind of tiny in some of those little areas. These are just adorable little guys. Let me get the little white eye points in. There. Now, let's do some coloring and see what we can come up with here. I believe we'll do a little blue. Ooh, I got way too much blue pulled out, didn't I? Well, that's okay. I wonder if I want to do the whole shoe, or just the sockies. I think I'll just do the socks and then come back with a little gray for the boot. What I'm doing here is just doing an alternate. On that scarf. There we go. Okay. There's one hat done. There's a little bob there. I'll do a little darker line in here. And maybe one right up across here. There. This is fun. I hope you all are enjoying it. These are the cutest little stamps. Alright, I'm going to set this aside. I can use that for something else this week. Now I think we'll do a little red on this hat over here. Did I lose my... It's okay, I've got a bunch of these little guys here. Let's do just the stripe on this hat. And I think I'll do the scarf in red. So this was the weekend of the bird stamps, wasn't it? Since my poinsettia didn't come out. That's a shame. Okay, now I'm going to pull a little black out for some gray boots. And I'm going to water this gray down a lot more. And do just a little bit of edging on the outside. I'm going to change brushes. And go back to that number 1 round on that. And put a little shadow in these little guys here. Help them stand off the page a little bit, just like you would with a marker. You can do pretty much the same thing. With your ink and a pen that you would with a marker. That's pretty nasty looking snow there, isn't it? It's okay. Go. Just a little shadow. I have my hand down on the mat itself. It's kind of like fussy cutting a little bit sometimes. You have to get where you have good control over the brush, or I do. My hands don't shake, but I just don't have really good control over them. And it helps if I've got my hand on solid ground. So, alright, that gets us our little shadows there. Now, let's see what are we going to do with that little present. I think I'll do a little water down on the green. Very watered down on the green. And there we are. And I think I'll do this bow in cherry cobbler. There. Now, I've got some crumb cake here. And I seriously want to dilute that down also, because I don't want brown birds. I just want a little shading on them. That's not the gray that goes with the shadow. There we are. We're getting there. Put just a little blue on there, and they can have just a little touch of blue color as well. It'll bleed up a little bit maybe. There we are. Oh, those are cute little guys. I'm going to do a little blue down in here as well. There. Okay, Julia, leave it alone. Stop! Well, I hope you all are enjoying this today, because I sure am. Let me get my mess cleaned up and we'll make this card. What I'm thinking is a little Merry Christmas up in here might be nice. And let's figure how we're going to do that. I like to use alcohol on some things like this because it dries fast. You don't have to worry about it being moist down in there again. Now, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but this is my little clear acetate piece here. And it's got a little red X in it. Can you see that? For down there in the corner. And I've got that thing slammed right up into that corner. Both sides. And I have my Merry Christmas mounted so that I can use it on the wood or I can use it on the Misty. So I'm going to put it over here where I've got plenty of room to wiggle my paper underneath. Now, maybe I'll put it up just a little bit more. There. So I'm going to do my preliminary stamp onto the acetate with some Memento black ink. And all that does then is to give us a starting point to align this piece underneath it for the Merry Christmas stamp. I've done this in a little video before, so I'm hoping you all saw that, and this is nothing new to you. But if it is new to you, this is a way that you can stamp a sentiment in exactly where you want to get it by using your jig stamp platform combination. So that, I think, is right where I want it, and I'm going to lock it down over here and pull this piece here, and then I'm going to get my VersaFine and ink my stamp. And that way, you see, I can ink it 2 or 3 times. I would never, ever, ever have been able to get that Merry Christmas right with a wood block. There's just no way. I can't do it. Some people, I suppose, are really good and they're able to do that, but I can't. And for sure, I can't repeat stamp, and I don't like stamping them with jigs. But this little system works well for me, and there we are. And I love this little card. Very unique. There's not another one like it. And isn't that the whole point here today? We're going to do something unique and different. Okay, now I have some black cardstock. Alright, I'm going to put that up on a top folding card. See, I think that's just cute. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to glue this because I want to have a little wiggle room. I've already made the mistake once with these cards of putting some tape on them and not being able to pull them and move them. So I'm just going to glue this one. And the next one will be as well, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it also. Now, somebody sent me a little message and asked me to show what I do for the inside of the cards. And on a card like this, I don't plan on doing much on the inside of it, to be honest with you. But I do have some cut-offs from this paper. And so I'm going to put a little strip on the inside. I think I'll use that one. I like it a little better. And it's not quite long enough, so I'm going to put it on the bottom. And I believe I'll just do a little 1/2-inch strip. I'm not going to put the sentiment on this one yet because I don't know who it's going to. But I'll do that later. So this needs to be 4 by 1/2 inch. And there we go. Well, I had hoped to show you 2 cards today, and it didn't work out, did it? But I really like this little guy, and I hope you do too. I'm wondering if we need to put some little gems on him, but I think I'm going to let him sit overnight and look at him again tomorrow and just see. If I do, I'll take pictures of it and put it over on the Facebook page so you'll see. But for the time being, I believe this card's finished. So I hope you've had a good day and that you'll have a good evening, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.